Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paddock podcast, and I am joined today by two absolute titans of the Manchester United fan base. I've got with me Joe Smith. How are we doing, Joe?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
I like the top.
Thank
Fernandez, fire, damn right. And also, he doesn't need an introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. Mr. Andy Tate, how are we doing?
I'm all right. A titan. Wow.
A titan, an absolute colossus, of the
More of a short ass. I'm shrinking now.
Listen, let's not beat around the bush. A lot of pundits have been chatting utter rubbish about some of our players. The usual suspects when it comes to the pundits, you can see them behind me. Jamie Carragher, Graeme Souness. Yes, there's a connection there, obviously. They've been talking about your Lisandro Martinez's today and previously. So we're going to have a little chat about that. We're going to look at what they've said. Souness has been at it again today on TalkSport, almost doubling down on his nonsense. And we're also going to have a look at, how wrong they are, why they're wrong. Because it's easy to sit here as a United fan and go, oh, well, you just got it wrong. But the comments that have been made, especially when it's about Martinez, and it's not just him, we'll get to some others as well, have been pretty wide of the mark. And I just don't understand how anyone who's paid to watch football can watch what they've seen from Lisandro Martinez and come to the conclusions that we've heard from the likes of Carragher and especially from Graeme Souness today, who's doubled down. Shall I give you some of the quotes so you can give me your reactions to them? We'll start with Graeme Souness. Now, today, Graeme Souness on TalkSport, speaking about Martinez, he's had a little bit of a thing with Martinez before, and he said, we've played 12 games. There's a lot to like about him. I like his aggression. The first thing he did when they played Liverpool, Trafford, he's gone right through Mohamed Salah. Okay, right. Salah for the rest of the game was looking for him. I like that. There's professional sport. He did his job very early on Mo Salah. For the rest of the game, he's looking over his shoulder. I just feel when you are that size, you will get caught. You will get pinned in the box. I don't think he's terribly quick. I don't think he's terribly good on the ball. But he makes other people play and has real aggression, which Argentinians tend to have. Now, it's that line in particular. I don't think he's terribly quick. I don't think he's terribly good on the ball, which a lot of United fans, and we're not alone in this, have taken issue with. And if you go on social media, which I'm sure you've done, you'll see Souness is trending. It ain't complimentary. I'll start with you, Joe.
Yeah.
What do you make of those comments, and why do we feel they're so wrong? Or I presume you do.
It's obviously very clear that arguably the last game he watched of Manchester United was United against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Because that's the only one he's referencing like an actual point where he's gone through Salah and after that Salah was a little bit sheepish. Since then, he's just making up an opinion on Martinez that isn't there based on him clearly not watching the matches. Saying about him not being that quick, he's not that quick, but most centre-backs aren't that quick.
Yeah.
Most of the great centre-backs ever aren't that quick. That's not what centre-backs are meant to be. They're not wingers. They're not like, even fullbacks, there's more of an emphasis on speed. Centre-backs typically aren't that quick. And Martinez is pretty quick for a centre-back.
Yeah, I think he is.
Not slow. He's not.
I think he is pretty quick.
Yeah, he's not getting caught for pace very often.
No.
And that thing about he's not very good at passing, I'll get some stats in a minute after Andy spoke, and we'll go through some of these stats about Martinez. But just watching him without the stats, his ball playing is fantastic. His centre of gravity, the way he dribbles and turns out of difficult positions, is literally brilliant. Like, he's as good as anyone I've seen in the league this season, defensively and on the ball. And to say that, it must just be Souness thinking, here's what I thought about him at the start of the season because of his height and the talking points that were all sort of given before he joined Manchester United. And I haven't actually seen enough of him to change my opinion, despite the fact that Martinez, in the meantime, while you've been watching other games or not watching any football, has proven those points wrong now. You can't go back to him and say he'll get caught out because, yes, he might get caught out occasionally because of his height, but that hasn't happened yet in 15 games, whatever he's played. And he's made up for that one time in 30 that it might happen, theoretically, by being phenomenal at so many other things. Like, there's give me any centre-back ever. Like, Rio Ferdinand. All right, he wasn't quite as sort of head into the ground, last-ditch defender as someone like Vidic. But he more than made up for that by not letting it get to that point more often. Like, any top defender ever has got a weakness or a side of their game they're not as comfortable with. But the reason they're top defenders is because they make up for it. not because they're constantly exposed by it. And we've seen enough of him now to know he isn't constantly exposed by the fact that he's 5'9". It's just bullshit.
It is bullshit. Andy, I'm going to give you a bit more of this quote because this is from the morning from when he was on Talk Shite, and he said, "We are talking about the Premier League. He will get found out at 5'9". I didn't know he was 5'9". I'm so glad that someone's pointed out. I didn't know
the verification's brilliant.
I think we need to talk about that a bit more. And he's playing against guys who are 6'2". Then he will get pinned. He will get out sprinted occasionally. Sorry, he will get pinned occasionally. He will get out sprinted occasionally, and he will get caught. That's my take on it. I can't tell you a centre back in English football in my time of the game that's been successful being that size." Then he went on to point out how he was right about Paul Pogba. He said, "Can I just come back with this? For all the Manchester United supporters, I think they are a fantastic football club. They really are. One of the biggest, most glamorous and successful there. I've said it. Can I just throw this out? Who was the first person to call Pogba out as a pudding? Host Jim White said, you. Souness said,
I love that. Who was the first? You. Definitely you.
Out of everyone in the world,
no one had ever criticised him before that.
Yeah.
And we know that for a fact. Graeme Souness criticised Paul Pogba before anyone else. That is not up for debate, isn't it, Joe? We all know that for certain. That's
there was no one who said it before Graeme Souness.
No.
Ever.
And I love
Ever.
So yeah, he's just going on a bit of a mad one there. Andy, by the way, I know loads of you are commenting. I will get to your comments in a minute because I'm very interested to hear what you've got to say. Try and keep it as clean as possible. I know it's difficult. Andy, there's a lot to pick through there. Joe's made a great point about why, you know, this whole sort of, Martinez can't be good, he's not quick enough or whatever, he's flawed. What have you made of Graeme Souness? And we'll get to the other commentators in a minute. And the way they've gone after Martinez and the way they seem to just attacked him from the start.
Yeah, sort of bullyish, very bully, schoolyard bully. Never wants to promote, promise, and all that. He should look at himself really, because he's a very poor he's a very poor football pundit, and they should take stock of what's happening with his beloved football club Liverpool and have a go at Van Dijk for his state of their debacle at the weekend.
Yeah, it's a great point that, because you've got, you know, Liverpool who got beat by a Leeds side who've lost 4, I think, out of the last 5 games. You've got United who got another clean sheet, and I think we've got I can't remember the exact record. It's several clean sheets this season anyway. You know, we've defensively we're looking a lot more reliable post sort of Man City, and yet it's Martinez and his height and his pace and he's on the ball. It's the on the ball thing that got me. You know, anyone who's watched Manchester United this season will know a lot of our sort of best football comes from the back through Martinez. I think you were pointing out the other day, I don't watch long, he touches the ball more than anyone. He's at the top, or always near around the top of the stats for most touches, most passes, because he's one of those defenders who, yes, he can progress the ball, but he also receives the ball a lot. Players know they can give it to Lisandro Martinez, and he'll do something with it. So that just seems like a really lazy comment. It's like you were saying,
it's lazy journalism.
It's lazy. It's not even journalism. Yeah, you're right. I'll get in some of the comments. Mank Mike 93 says Souness is a clown. Always talks nonsense. They just can't stand that we are doing well and that Liverpool has started being exposed. Sam Z says Carragher's talking out of his backside. Glad that Martinez is irritating the Scousers and other haters. Let's just talk about this on Jamie Carragher, because Jamie Carragher, and this was in August, right? So don't tell me there's not an agenda here with certain pundits when it comes to Lisandro Martinez. Jamie Carragher in August, before I think Lisandro Martinez had even kicked a ball for Manchester United. And I've just picked up a headline. It says here, Jamie Carragher rips into Lisandro Martinez. And he goes on, he says...
this was after the Brentford game, I think.
Was this after, sorry.
Yeah.
This was after the Brentford game. So you had the Brighton game, you had the Brentford game. Sorry, you're right. He had kicked a ball for us. And he says, now we should never judge managers or players too early, but I'm convinced this can't work because of the size of him playing in a back 4. Maybe he could go left back, maybe he could go in a back 3, but in a back 4, he cannot play there in the Premier League. Now, obviously, against Brentford, against Brighton, we had 2 bad results. The Brighton game, I thought Martinez played well. I did. I was at the game and thought he played well. I mean, Matt, you don't have to be at the game to know that. But I remember thinking he's one of the few, him and Ericsson, that haven't embarrassed themselves today on what was a poor result. The Brentford game, obviously, everyone had a stinker. I think he got pulled out of time. A lot was made of the goal from Ben Mee, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where Ben Mee's headed it into the goal, Martinez has fallen over. But Martinez sort of trips over someone. So that wasn't necessarily his height being an issue. It was he fell over. You can be 7 foot tall, and if you fall over, there's not much you can do. Or if you get tripped over or whatever. So that was sort of a bit misleading. And what's happened is Carragher's just looked at that and gone, right, that's it. Height is an issue. He's not good enough. Now, Carragher was wrong, and you pulled him on it, didn't you? Because when you did the overlap with Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville, it was a few games after the Brentford game where Martinez had these man-of-the-match performances against the likes of Liverpool, and was this post-Arsenal as well?
I think it was post-Arsenal.
Post-Arsenal. He'd be getting all these plaudits, and you tell us, you were there, what Carragher said and what your response to it was.
It was just that he was now all of a sudden like people saying how good he is, and then Carragher going, well, it's too early to say whether he's been a success or not. But then obviously this is 6 weeks after he'd not deemed it too early to say that it would be a failure. I can't see this working.
So 2 games in, he said he's a failure.
Yeah.
And then
8 games in, it's too early to say whether it'll be a failure or not, because he's obviously not.
That's the definition of an agenda.
Yeah.
You've literally changed your stance on how you judge a player.
Yeah.
If you'd have said, I've watched a couple of games and so far, I think he's poor. And then 6 games later, or whatever, 4 games later, you go, I've seen some more games, now he looks decent.
I think the exact quote is, I'm convinced it cannot work.
Yeah.
I think that was the exact quote.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
And just one stat, I mean, there's
Go on,
loads
give me
of
some
stuff we
stats,
could go into.
baby.
Errors per 90 on Lisandro Martinez, 0.
Right.
Averaging 0 errors per 90.
Pathetic. Anyone who knows football knows that, right? Seriously, 0 is rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah? If you've got 0, it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
So 0 errors, Lisandro Martinez should be ashamed of yourself. Disgraceful. Go on.
It's just, I mean, like his pass completion is in the top 15% of players. So obviously his passing isn't particularly shit either, like Souness tried to say. He doesn't get beaten in the air very often. I think in terms of aerials lost, he's in the top 30% for that as well. Like he's just better than average or outstanding in pretty much every possible way. And he talks about on the ball. This isn't just like passing. This is, how he dribbles, how he touches the ball. He's in the top 9% of dribbles completed for defenders. Like, he is elite on the ball. Like, statistically. And not just statistically, yeah, you can go through stats all you want. When you watch him, he's just fucking ace. Like, he's just good. And you can see, there's no stat for how much have you made Diogo Dalot better. How much have you made Luke Shaw more confident?
How much have you got the crowd going on?
How much have you got the crowd going?
That's the thing.
I know, he's a Vidic type mentality.
He gets everyone going.
Baptism of
gets you
fire.
off your seat. How much have you got David De Gea feeling a bit more confident?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, how much have you just got the whole place buzzing?
Yeah.
I've not remembered, I can't recall this much positivity about a new signing after so few games for years. Literally. I know we all got excited when Ronnie signed, but I mean, in terms of someone, we didn't really know, coming in and having this kind of impact, he's just got everyone loving him.
I see parallels with Vidic and Evero when he came in, thrown into a Manchester derby where we got beat 4-1. And after that, we just cracked on. I see parallels like with the Middlesbrough game, and it can only the Brentford game, and it can only be good for United because everyone's talking about us and we're pissing people off.
And that's the thing, innit? It's like you've got to come up with some opinion on United because we're doing well. I think we've since that Brentford game, the 4-0, we've won 12, drawn 2, lost 2, which is obviously pretty good. Or maybe won 11, drawn 2, lost 2. Either way, it's 2 losses in the last 15 games. One was against City.
Yeah, one was
against Sociedad. So United are moving in the right direction, and now pundits are asked about him, and you've got to choose to continue your agenda that you had at the start of the season, which is United are shit, everything's crap, the new signings are rubbish, they've overpaid, or you have to change that based on what's actually happening, which is people like Anthony have improved Man United's front line. Lisandro Martinez has drastically helped improve Man United's defensive line. Even people like David De Gea, who I've criticised a lot, looks a lot better with his feet, looks more confident on the ball. Maybe that's because he's not facing 20 shots a game anymore. He's facing 6 shots a game because of the likes of Casemiro, the structures that Ten Hag's put in, people like Lisandro Martinez. Everyone looks better, and now you're a pundit and you've got to go, I'm 60 years old, what am I going to do? Get a new opinion on how tall centre-backs have to be successful? Probably not. I'll just fade into insignificance instead.
It's really weird because Souness's MO usually is like, he's the type of pundit that likes that type of player that Martinez is.
Yeah.
That passion that gets stuck in, that's fearless, that gets his teammates going, that marshals the defence, that does all the things that Souness has criticised other players for not doing in the past. Martinez does all that, so he's sort of aiming shots at him for other reasons that don't exist. He's crap on the ball, he's slow, or he's not particularly quick. That's not true. No. So it's really weird. We're going to get into the comments. There's loads of comments. I'm not going to ignore your super chats. We're going to get into them shortly. But first of all, you've got a message for our lovely viewers.
We have. This show is sponsored by Manscaped. Cue Haunted Music and Michael Myers, right?
Right, okay. I can't remember. Have we got Haunted Music?
Have we got the Haunted Music playing? No Haunted Music. Oh, there you go.
That was truly pathetic.
Michael Myers, like I said, he is scary, but the last thing you need is to be hairy this Halloween.
Nice.
It's Halloween today, Andy.
I know.
Yeah.
Nice, isn't it?
That's why Souness is having a bad one, isn't it?
It is. He's carved out his pumpkin, but there's no candle there anymore. I mean, the flame has died on Graeme Souness, unfortunately. Luckily, our friends at Manscaped have launched their 4th generation performance package to make sure your pumpkins are the ultimate. Get the ultimate carving experience this Halloween.
Can I say my pumpkins are Hallow Sheen?
That is shit. Manscaped, however, are not shit. Yeah? How has Manscaped helped my confidence? Great question. Well, I can take my knickerbocker glories off any time of the day and know that I'm not going to get scowls, stares, frowns. I'm going to get smiles, and I'm going to get people going, how have you done that beautiful topiary?
Yes.
And I'm going to say, using the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. It really is that simple. It's your multi-purpose razor shaver. Yeah?
Yeah. And it's not just the Lawnmower 4.0, which in itself is awesome. Yeah. You've also got the Performance Package 4.0. So you get the weed whacker. Yeah. So you can get rid of all the nose and hair sort of stuff that goes on, especially for men of a certain age like myself. You've also got the boxer briefs. Yeah, you love a bit of that, don't you? You've got the crop reviver, the crop toner, the ball crop toner. So it keeps it nice and fresh, smelling nice and fresh as well. It's no good just looking good. You've got to smell good as well.
Everyone puts deodorant on their underarms.
Yeah.
But then you've got your bollocks, which are, let's face it, kicking off a pong at times.
Yeah.
Let's finally put on a specifically created testicular toner.
Yeah.
That's what Manscaped provides.
I'm sure Michael Myers is all dead a set now.
I'm pretty sure he has.
A bit whiffy and hairy after the last couple of years being missing.
You know what I mean?
You've also got as well the Shears 2.0 nail kit. Now, how can you get all this, right? You can get 20% off and free shipping using the code DevilsSweaty at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping using the code DevilsSweaty at manscaped.com. Say trick or treat. Right, this is worse than anything I said before. Right, so don't give me that. To your beautiful new Halloweeny.
Your little weenie.
With Manscaped.
Link in the description. Okay.
You can find a link in the description and a little bit of my soul. Go and check him out, though. Yeah, go and check him out. Devil's Sweater, you know the drill. Come on. Free shipping, 20% off. What more do you want? A big thanks to Manscaped for sponsoring this podcast. Right, before you give us more stats, can I go through some of the super chats and the chats? Because it's absolutely popping off, so forgive me if I've not done it yet. Let's get into it. James Woods, I don't know if it's the Hollywood actor stroke right-wing activist, but Scousers having a pop at our players to take away from their woeful defenders, Trent, etc. Don't think they can deal with the fact we're on the way back. Suvik Bhattacharya says, don't you think they've served a purpose for the broadcaster? Their commentary and punditry, in inverted commas, caters to the specific group of people, crosstabs, live viewers equals heterogeneous, post-match, more homogeneous. Some very...
Couldn't agree more with that.
Very
cerebral
thoughts there. Aditya Gautam, who's been a member of the Academy for 23 months, says, Lich's effing magic. This is beyond delusional. How are they paid for this sort of opinion? Who listens to this garbage covering up for LFC and Slippy G? Parky1712 has been a member of the first team for... sorry, I've just lost him there. 28 months, says, the term throwing shit at the wall and see what sticks comes to mind. Souness's criticisms of Martinez are being disproven with every game he plays. Alex Bailey, member of the first team for 24 months. I love the facts. Idiot Scousers are eating their words, but I love the facts. Leacher has made Delo better and brought the best out of Shaw. Just better. ST. Mank Mike 93. They point blank refuse to admit that Trent is stinking up the joint. Salah isn't the player of last season, and Andy Carroll 2.0 came in and got a red and hasn't been what they thought he had. Darwin Núñez there. Jokers, a lot of them. Go on.
Speaking of that, just brought up a few stats on Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk for the last
heard of him, bro.
For the last year, so the last 365 days. Now this is in comparison to other centre backs, right? Virgil van Dijk over the last 4 or 5 years, probably considered the best centre back of this recent generation in the kind of post Ramos at his peak era. Yeah, would we agree with that?
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
You know, in the last year, Van Dijk is averaging in the bottom 2%. So only 2% of defenders are making less tackles per game than Virgil van Dijk. Only 14% of defenders are making less interceptions per game. Only 5% of defenders are making less blocks than him. He's in the bottom 2%, in the bottom 30% for clearances. Like, defensively, when you look at fucking red is bad, green is good, he is awful defensively. The only thing he's doing well at is winning the ball in the air. But his tackling, his interceptions, his blocking and his clearances are all either well below average or like some of the worst in Europe for a centre-back. And all I'm hearing is, he was a bit slow today, Van Dijk. Where is the Van Dijk is...
Oh, no, all I'm hearing is, he kept Sterling Ireland quiet.
Yeah.
How wonderful he is, how he's back to his best. He's been woeful all season, apart from that City game. He was terrible at Old Trafford.
Yeah,
he became a meme, a Liam Gallagher meme doing all this. Jadon Sancho put one past him.
He did the same thing again against Leeds the other day, just not closing down his man. And everyone blamed Joe Gomez for that pass back to Alisson, which was bad by Gomez. The lead striker that put the ball in the back of the net was behind Van Dijk when that ball was played. Van Dijk just fucking looked the other way. Yeah. Just ignored it. And this isn't even necessarily to have a go at say how shit Van Dijk is. He's doing that himself. But it's just more of a, why are we focusing on a player who's playing for Manchester United who is playing well over a player that is playing for the team that they like who is being awful? It's just double standards and it's rubbish and it's just bad punditry.
It is, and I've got some more. There's more to go into with some of the pundits as well and what they've said. I'll get into some of your comments as well, because it's coming thick and fast. Andy on 78 says, would you guys bring back Lindelof in for Maguire when he's fit?
I think Ten Hag probably will. I think Lindelof is probably ahead of
Thursday,
Maguire.
Definitely.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, because Harry was all right yesterday, but still a bit ring rust.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Maguire might keep his place. Get involved in the comments in the chat and let us know what you think. The Tina Tellefson Totoka.
Love that.
Why is Carragher and Souness going after TTA Gomez? I think why they're not going after Trent Alexander-Arnold, Gomez, Van Dijk, the rest of the Liverpool player, which is under-delivered big time.
And just on that as well. So the sort of the most prominent United face in terms of punditry is Gary Neville.
Yeah.
I know that notoriously it's almost annoying that he's quite sort of pro every club except United. It can be frustrating at times, but on Trent, his angle was to be positive, saying he thinks he can be one of the best right backs ever, all this shit, which is too much and it's a bit nauseating. And I wish he was a bit more positive about United. But he chooses that positive angle, which is, for me, just a better direction to go down than this constant hate from Souness and players like people like that. Trent this season, again for a defender, his tackles are in the bottom 19%. His clearances are in the bottom 7%. His blocks are in the bottom 13%. It's just awful defensively. And yet the United pundit decides to be a bit more positive and a bit more, friendly towards him, which, again, maybe pushing it too far. But when it's the Liverpool pundit, they have to fucking slag off someone who's been really good.
Yeah.
Like, why can't you almost defy the odds? If you're Graeme Souness, you can sit there and think, everyone expects me to slag off United. I'll do something interesting. I'll do something surprising. Make myself actually, fucking have you seen what Souness has said? By going the other way and trying to look at the positive. But they just can't. They can't bring themselves to do it.
Not even that. Why not just be honest?
Yeah, well, that's fine as well, yeah.
Why not just watch the game of football and make an assessment on the game of football? Because I cannot believe you watch Lisandro Martinez and think he's bad on the ball.
Why don't they make an assessment on their current team's form and how crap they are?
I think Souness is probably thinking of that ambassadorial role he might have at the club. Santa Notch in the super chat, member of the first team 28 months, says TalkSport used a fan tweet to excuse why they took so long to talk about Liverpool. Souness also said David Gill didn't make good football decisions. Abhinav Verma says, who's worse, Souness or Arsenal fans saying Arteta is better at talent ID than Erik ten Hag because he would have played Lisandro at Zinchenko's role. Also, Ben Sorville. I've lost that now. Sorry, Ben. Basically, he was just having a dig at Jamie Carragher.
Lovely stuff.
Which, is pretty fine. Joby1 says, ask Andy if Moyes was the biggest fool in Manchester yesterday.
I think he was. For the way he set up West Ham. Didn't want to shoot, didn't want to score. And he only had a go in the last 10, 15 minutes. That was it. So he's the biggest fool. on Halloween.
Can I just say
Go
something?
on.
Speaking of Halloween, did you see someone went as you to a Halloween party?
Have you got? Where is that? Can we get that?
Can we get that screenshot sent over?
Where is it?
Someone went as you. It's a pretty flattering comparison, actually. What are your immediate thoughts on that?
Can we find it?
Someone
Send
went
it
to a
to our
Halloween
producer. I
party
wanna
dressed
get
as
that.
Andy Tate. last
Bit
night.
stalker mentality. Michael Myers, eat your bloody out.
A bit stalker mentality. I love it, mate. I forgot. I'm so glad you brought it up. We're gonna get it on the screen in a minute. It's absolutely
Stalker mentality.
this guy. You know what I love about Andy? Right, he's the most humble guy I've ever met. And I remember like we were showing you the TikToks of like these girls in America doing the Andy Tate.
Yeah, the girls in America were brilliant.
He didn't even obviously know who Andy Tate was and just became obsessed with his, you know, that stitch this and that. Why do I know all the words to this? It was hilarious. Go and check that on our TikTok. Andy reacting to that. Rook of MJ says 666k subs today. Spooky. Hit that like button. We've got over 3,700 or 600 people watching. Not even 400 likes. Let's get into the likes. Hit the like button. If you're not doing as well, subscribe. Now, you may think that Graeme Souness's comments on Lisandro Martinez are absolutely terrible, and you would be right. But this isn't the first time this season he'd said something completely stupid and ridiculous.
You surprised me, Jay, with your words about Graeme Souness.
So, when United signed Casemiro, let me just get me... this is... United signed Casemiro. So, this is Casemiro, who's won 5 Champions Leagues.
Is that it?
One of the greatest midfielders on the planet. Pretty much established. There's not much arguing about it. He's won the lot for a reason several times. He's absolutely elite. Yeah? Mm-hmm. United fans are all buzzing when we got him. Anyone who's watched him, he's just like, he's so good.
Just on that, just to hit you with some immediate stats
Please
on Casemiro.
do that. Let's do it this way around.
Honestly, this season in the Premier League,
Go on.
Casemiro. So compare this to Van Dijk, who is like bottom 2% bottom.
Yeah, he's shit.
Casemiro for midfielders is in the top 3% for tackles,
right,
per 90. Top 5% for interceptions.
Yeah.
Top 4% for blocks. Top 5% for clearances, and top 3% for aerials won. Like, if Green is good. Fuck me, he's good. Look at that. There is defensive stats there. Oh my God, everything's popping off. There is defensive stats. Look how green it is.
Green.
He's literally consistently,
green is good.
for the defensive metrics, arguably the best in the league. And that's in the Premier League, not like using his La Liga stats, whatever. Unreal. So go on, what do Graeme Souness have to say about him?
Right. So, Casemiro has announced that he's signing for United, and this is what Graeme Souness had to say. He was playing with great players. He's not a great player. He has never been a great player. That is absolutely insane. That's just fucking nonsense, right? I see him as a steady Eddie who will help United be more solid in midfield. Half right. He has helped United be more solid, but he's not a steady Eddie. He also, this is even better. He gets better. I don't think he has a great range of passing. I don't think he's going to help other people play. I think he was lucky to be in that Real Madrid team. I never look forward to watching Casemiro. Benzema, definitely. The other midfielders, definitely. I never thought I'm really excited to watch Casemiro play today.
This is like the brain of a 9-year-old in the body of a 65-year-old, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like Benzema. He scores goals.
Benzema scores goals, he's meant.
Yeah.
Casemiro doesn't score rubbish.
Talking about, what did he say about his passing range there and his passing?
I don't think he has got a great range of passing.
Right. So his progressive passes, which is not what he's there for.
No,
he's there to win the ball back and give it to people like Eriksen who can progress the ball. Is in the top 25% of all midfielders, including attacking midfielders. His passes attempted is in the top 12%. So he gets on the ball loads, he passes it loads, and he passes it forward successfully loads.
Right.
It's just shit.
If you watch Casemiro,
just making it up.
If you watch Casemiro, you can't watch him and think he's shit.
No.
You just can't, man. You watch him and you just think, that's a very, very good midfielder. That is an elite midfielder.
Yeah.
Like, this guy hasn't watched him, has just gone, all right, yeah, Real Madrid has won a load of Champions League. I think he's lucky to be in that team. I don't get excited by him.
Has he ever watched La Liga? He's won Spanish titles as well.
He obviously hasn't. He's probably watched the games where Real Madrid have played Liverpool and not focused on Casemiro. That'll be it. Like, even in terms of attacking, which again, I don't mind if he's in the bottom half of things for this, because this isn't what he's here for.
Yeah.
He's in the top 24%, sorry, for shot creating actions. So basically, he gives the ball to people and then they take shots. He's one of the best in the league at that. Like, he's well above average at that. He's well above average at assists.
It's just a madness, right? It is a madness. We'll get into some more in a minute. First of all, we've got the Andy Tate Halloween costume. There you go.
What do you make of that, Andy?
That is. Have we got the actual Andy Tate picture from where that's from?
That'd be good if we get. At least put it next to Andy.
Can we get that up so we can see?
There you go, Andy. What do you make of that?
Go if you Google the Andy Tate.
We'll get that.
Rant, Andy Tate famous rant, and we can get the juxtapose it next
He's
to
got
that.
the jacket.
He's got the old Devils mic as well.
I know, he's got the old Nike jacket I had, the black hat, bloody and the mic.
Really gone for it there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Do you feel flattered, Andy?
Yeah.
Or slightly stalker mentality?
Yeah, stalker mentality. Slightly scared, but
does it ever get a bit much, Andy? Because I've been with you loads of times, and people come over to you and just say, sorry to say again, it's miser.
I will say this yesterday.
Go on.
I met an hot dog van outside Old Trafford.
Sorry, you met a hot dog van?
Hang on a minute.
I was at a burger van getting a hot dog.
You met one? Like, what is this? Some episode
I was at a burger van yesterday.
Cars film.
And I'm about to buy.
An hot dog van.
I've got an hot dog and a bottle of water, and I'm about to take a bite out of it. And all these lads like, Andy, can we have a picture? I'm about to bite my hot dog and stinking of onions. Are you having a kit? Are you having a laugh?
No.
What did you do?
I had to give him a picture. And yesterday as well, when we were celebrating another clean sheet, the ground's bouncing in our section. I'm getting people wanting selfies. The kids wanting selfies with me. It was brilliant. And some weird United fan comes up, takes a selfie with me, and kisses the side of my head. That's fucking scary.
That was Jay.
I'm sorry about that. I got a bit excited. That's why I ran down 12 flights of stairs and dived over into the other section of the ground. Just ran across the pitch to get to you. Apologies there. Aaron Agnew, who's been a member of the Academy for 12 months, says, if Martinez and Casemiro signed for any other top six club, Souness would say they are great signings, 100%. Suvic, we were talking about this in the ground yesterday, yeah? Suvic, Bhattacharya, because this is before we even knew what Souness had been saying. Souness is a manager making decisions. Remember Ali Dia? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So anyone who doesn't know, right, someone rang up Graeme Souness when he was manager of Southampton and said, I'm George Weah. My cousin wants to come and play for you. I want to have a trial with you. He's mint, right? So Graeme Souness says, sorry, someone rang up Graeme Souness, right, saying they're George Weah. Graeme Souness says, right, get your cousin down here. We'll give him a go. He comes down, according to Matt Letizia, he comes down, he has a training session with him, isn't very good. Mm-hmm. They have a game 2 days later, he's on the bench, right? He's on the bench. Matt Letizia, I think, gets an injury. Ali Dia comes on.
Plays 53 minutes.
53 minutes, gets subbed off. The sub who comes on gets subbed off because he's shocking. He's nowhere near Premier League standard, right? Because he wasn't George Weah's cousin. And even if he was, what does that mean? He was a non-league footballer from England who just blagged his way into playing in the Premier League. That's the kind of guy we're dealing with, Graeme Souness. Con to giving someone a Premier League debut who wasn't even Football League standard because they pretended to be the cousin of George Weah.
I remember
let's have a look at this Andy Tate comparison. Let's bring up the actual... It's not bad, that. It's not bad.
He's got every base covered there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
You've not aged, haven't you? When was that? That was 8 years ago, wasn't it? 9 years ago.
2014.
Yeah. So you've done well there. It's working for you.
Just on that,
go on.
Souness denies that he was tricked by that, by the way.
What, he knew he wasn't and he knew he was crap and played him anyway. That's even more disconcerting.
It's one of those stories that's got arms and legs. He said, we had no Dosh at the time and we had players in most... we had players in most weeks to train. So this guy turned up. Someone on the phone said that he was related to George Weah and he turns up for training. Now I've got serious football people with me. And within the first 5 minutes, we knew he was a dumpling. We knew he was not good enough. We let him stay till the end of the week. But as the week went on, we had injury after injury after injury. And then we get to Thursday or Friday, Terry Cooper said to me, you're going to have to involve that fool in the squad on Saturday. He said, no, we can't do that. I'm telling you, we've got nothing. We've got no fullbacks, no centre-halves. You've got no strikers at all. So they registered him for a month. So apparently he did know he was just embarrassingly awful and still played him anyway.
Right.
That's such shit.
That is bullshit. For starters, you can say a lot of things about Southampton, but historically, even now, they've always had a good youth policy, a good academy. The likes of, I think, Shearer and Sim Flowers and players like that, who's the other kid? Theo Walcott,
Luke Shaw.
Luke Shaw, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Gareth Bale?
Yeah, they produce good youngsters. They have a good youth policy, and they've always had that since the dawn of the Premier League and beyond that. So the idea that you couldn't have got one of your young players and gone, listen, we're short, you're sitting on the bench, you might not get a run out, but you're making up the numbers, is a nonsense.
Especially someone that hasn't tricked you into being there in the first place.
Our only option is to play this kid who's obviously shit at football.
Literally a con artist.
I know he's a con artist, but we've got no one. I may as well put myself on the bench.
Yeah,
I do remember that.
How many
I really
injuries
do.
do you have to literally play someone that's rang you up and gone, I'm George Weah's cousin, can I have a game? Well, we've got a few injuries, come on.
That's
not a thing.
That's like, when you get these scam artists to try and burgle your house or whatever, letting them in your house, letting them rob your house and then going, I knew he was going to do that.
Yeah.
I knew he was a scam artist.
Yeah,
Did it anyway.
I just thought he could do with the money.
I want to go for a minimalist look.
I need to replace my sofa anyway.
Yeah, so the joke's on him. Just talking shit, hence the thumbnail. Jack Lynn says, Souness and Carragher, I really can't stand them both. They are afraid of United because for once we have a manager who knows what he wants. And to be fair, Mr. Tate, at least you are receiving some love. Michael Dyson, who's been a member of the Academy for 10 months, says, should resign. David Beckham to use him as to use him as an impact sub for free kicks. Plus, all the players should wear his perfume to smell nice for the opposition. Daniel Kirk says thoughts on Marcus saying he's in a better headspace. Love seeing him with that beautiful smile again. Great to see Marcus scoring goals. Great to see him getting heading goals. Great to see him feeling better. Happy birthday to Marcus Rashford, 25 today.
Happy birthday.
100 United goals. I think there's only 21 players or something who've ever done that for the club.
He's the 22nd.
He's the 22nd, sorry. So he's 22nd player to do that. Doing it at the age of 25. Fantastic. Like Manchester, Marcus is red. Wally of the Week time. Andy, who is your Wally of the Week?
Well, I think Graeme Souness in a nutshell. He's made my decision for me, and he's an absolute fool.
This whole episode has basically been a 40-minute Wally of the Week, hasn't it? So in a way, I agree with Andy. I'm going to go with, I don't really know who to pin it on.
Right.
But whoever is letting Lionel Messi potentially join Inter Miami, from Lionel Messi's side, has to be an absolute Wally.
Yeah.
He might be playing alongside Harvey Neville next season.
Yeah.
The greatest player of all time, playing alongside Lionel Messi.
Hell of a coup,
Inter Milan. That is mad if he goes there, isn't it? That surely cannot happen. Have you seen this, David Ornstein, today?
No, that worries me because it's come from Ornstein.
David Ornstein saying Inter Milan increasingly confident of signing Lionel Messi. Not fully agreed, but Inter Miami now expect the 35-year-old to join and hope it gets done in the coming months. Talks will resume after the World Cup 2022.
Who's bankrolling that? David Beckham?
I've no idea. I don't even know who my Wally of the Week is, but it's just whoever is letting that happen is insane. But anyway, he might be going there. Fair enough.
Right, so you've gone with that. You've gone with someone in the Norfolk and Good in the chat says, get political, Jay. Listen, I could go lay into the Tories like I normally do because let's face facts, it's an utter shambles. But
Simon Le Bon. That's your Wally of the Week, isn't it?
Duran. Their latest album was terrible. No, do you know what? I'm sorry. I'm actually not going to get political. I'm just going to go for the obvious. And it's just all these ex-Scouse pundits as a collective who just are paid a lot of money, right, to give honest opinions. Now, opinions that, listen, you can disagree with them, you can go, I don't agree with that, I don't agree with that. But when you know players aren't even, or ex-players aren't even watching the games, and they're just talking, saying things that don't make any sense, like Casemiro isn't any good, Lisandro Martinez is terrible on the ball. It's just poor, man. It's just not good enough. And I think, especially when you see it on the likes of Sky and stuff, where you're paying a subscription, you think you've not done your own work, you've not watched the games, you're just coming on here and just saying the first thing that comes into your head that you think is going to be popular amongst the fan base from your old club. It's just not good enough. So that's going to be my Wally of the Week. Joe, where can people find you?
Check out the Sloppy Joes podcast. We had Stephen Tries on this week, so make sure you go and check out the Sloppy Joes podcast.
Andy, where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram, Andy Tate. You'll find me on there. Just Google it.
Just before we go, Andy, have a single on Andy. Give a message to Graeme Souness. Do you are a waste of time. You are a feel good night or whatever it was.
For Graeme Souness on this happy Halloween night, you are nothing, you are a fool, and you are a waste of time. As Michael Myers would say, good night.
Thanks, Andy. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.